Good morning, YouTube. How you guys doing? Dirk here, GC Blues 45. I promised you the post-game report. I'm keeping it. And folks, for the new people, the post-game report is basically a recap of all the games and what I thought about them. Okay? Yeah, so that's pretty much a summary. Now remember folks, if you haven't come across this video and happen to like it, please give me that thumbs up doodle. It's very important, helps to keep the channel going. Starting off with Minnesota at Detroit. Entering the matchup, Minnesota was 33-19 and 4 and 70 points. Detroit 28-22 and 5 and 61 points. At the end of the 60 minutes, this had to go to an extra period, and Detroit loses by a score of 4-3. Shots on goal were the Wild 39, the Wings 30. The Wild had 27 saves with the Red Wings 25. Minnesota was 1 for 4 on the power play with Detroit 2 for 5 on the power play. Now Detroit does pick up a point, which is great. Um, it was pretty much all Detroit. Detroit really dominated this game, but somehow, in the break, Minnesota decided, hey, we got to get our butts on the ball. That's what they did, and they overcame in the third period, and they won in overtime. But Detroit, they did a great job. Way to go! They did get a point at least. I'm happy for that. 14 games on the dot, folks. Can you believe it? Next is Edmonton at Philly. Entering the matchup, Edmonton was 34, 17, and 4, and 72 points. Philadelphia 24, 26, and 7, and 55 points. At the end of 60 minutes, the Edmonton Oilers lose to the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 6-3. Shots on goal, the Flyers 32, the Oilers 18. The Flyers have 15 saves with the Oilers 26. And Philly was 0 for 1. 1 for 2 on the power play with Edmonton 0 for 1 on the power play. By the way, the series was tied 1 game each. Philly wins on the goals 9-7, and also they get the record. They went 1-0-1. Um, this was pretty much dominated after the first period. Edmonton had the lead. No, they had the lead after the first period. And then all of a sudden, Philadelphia just put the afterburners on and said, hey, we're not going to let this happen in our house. And that's what happened. That's why they won. So, way to go, Philadelphia. Way to beat the Oilers. A great interdivision matchup. And pretty much good win for the Flyers. Everton did at least try, but it wasn't enough. Next was Washington at Pittsburgh. Currently, at going into the matchup, Washington was 36, 11, and 8, and 80 points. Pittsburgh 23, 25, and 9, and 55 points. And at the end of 6 minutes, Washington wins by a score of 8. That's right, 8-3. And hold on here, I missed one little detail. Sometimes when you think you got it all, you don't. Shots on goal were the Caps 31, the Pens 32. The Capitals have 29 saves with the Penguins 23. Washington went 1 for 4 on the power play with Pittsburgh 1 for 2 on the power play. Now, did Ovechkin score today? Let's find out. Did he score? He did not. Unfortunately, Ovechkin did not get a goal tonight. So, um, after one period, it was pretty much deadlocked. But after the second, Washington put on the afterburners and said, "Hey, we're going to take this game and win." That's what happened. Pittsburgh, they tried their best, but I could not believe it. So Washington wins 8-3. Way to go. So nothing you really can do about that. Next was the Rangers at Buffalo. Enter the matchup, the New York Rangers were 27, 24, and 2 and 58 points. The Sabres were 22, 27, and 5, 49 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Buffalo Sabres pounded the New York Rangers by a score of 8. I said that's right, 8-2. Shots on goal, the Sabres 33, the Rangers 28. The Sabres had 26 saves with the Rangers 25. Buffalo has 1 for 3 on the power play with the New York Rangers 1 for 4 on the power play. I mean, on the power play. This was total domination by Buffalo. Way really starting off right on the gate. They went at it. That's why they won. And the Rangers could not um, withhold it. That's why the Sabres won and they got the underdog today. So that's a way to go. Next was Florida at home against Seattle. Basic and um, entering the matchup, Seattle was 24, 29, and 4 and 52 points. Florida 34, 20, and 3 and 71 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Seattle Kraken beat the Florida Panthers by a score of 2-1. Shots on goal were the Kraken 22, the Panthers 27. The Kraken had 26 saves with the Panthers 20. Seattle went 1 for 1 on the power play with Florida 0 for 1 on the power play. And Florida wins the series, by the way, 1-1-0. And they also they tied on the goals 3 each. But they won the series 1-1. Series was tied, but Florida wins it by the record of 1 win, 1 loss, no ties. Way to go. And they were tied on the goals 3-3 each. What is it about this game? Seattle, they started off scoring first, and then basically it was back and forth, back and forth. One team started it, the other team did good in there, and it just went back and forth. And Seattle wanted to win more, and that's why they won. So, way to go by Seattle. Next was the Dallas Stars at New Jersey. Entering the matchup, Dallas was 35, 18, and 2 and 72 points. New Jersey 31, 20, and 6 and 68 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Dallas Stars beat the New Jersey Devils by a score of 4-2. Shots on goal were the Stars 26, the Devils 33. The Stars had 31 saves with the Devils 22. Dallas was 1 for 3 on the power play with New Jersey 1 for 4 on the power play. What to say about this game? Dallas fired on all cylinders starting off. Um, Very good game. Believe it or not, I think it was a very, very good game. And, after a scoreless second period, Dallas just, hey, we're going to win this game. And they scored two, but New Jersey also scored two. But it wasn't enough for New Jersey. That's why they lost. But overall, good game by the Stars and the Devils. The Devils did try. I have to admit, the Devils did try, but it was a losing effort for them. But good going by them. Next was Colorado at Nashville. Entering the matchup, Colorado was 32, 22, and 2 and 68 points. Nashville 19, 8, 28 and 7 and 45 points at the end of 60 minutes. The Nashville Predators beat the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 2-1. That's right, 2-1, which I'm proud of. Shots on goal were the Preds 17, the Avs 32. The Predators had 31 saves with the Avalanche 15. Nashville was over 2 on the power play with Colorado over 1 on the power play. This was evenly matched after two periods. Neck and neck, back and forth. Somehow in the third period, Colorado just let it slip, and that's why they lost to the Predators. They they slipped up, and that's what happens when you think, oh, we're gonna win this, and you know that's what happened. So way to go. And also, the series was tied 2-2, but Nashville wins the series by the wins. Two wins, one loss, one tie. So way to go for Nashville. Overall, they get the win. Next was Boston and Anna at home against the Ducks. Anaheim Ducks entered the matchup. Anaheim was 24, 24, and 6 and 54 points. Boston 27, 24, and 6 and 60 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, this had to go into extra period. And the Ducks win by a score 3-2. Shots on goal were the Ducks 29, Bruins 30. The Ducks had 28 saves with the Bruins 26. Anaheim went over 1 on the power play with Boston 1 for 4. Now, Boston picked up a point. To start off the game, Anaheim led. Then Boston turned on the afterburners and said, hey, we are going to win this game. We're going to. But in overtime, Anaheim wanted it more. That's why they won. So I'm not disappointed in the Bruins. They did pick up a point, but Anaheim picks up the two, so that's what happens. Next was Carolina at Toronto. Entering this matchup, Carolina was 33, 19, and 4 and 70 points. Toronto 33, 20, and 5 and 68 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Carolina Hurricanes by the score of 6-3. That's right, 6-3. Basically, they said no storm surge for you guys. Shots on goal were the Leafs 23, the Canes 34. The Maple Leafs had 31 saves with the Hurricanes 18, and both teams were over for 2 on the power play. Um, Total domination by the Maple Leafs. I mean, total domination. Maple Leafs just flat out dominated this game. Good game. It was a good game by the Maple Leafs. They pulled it out. The Canes, they did try. I admit the Hurricanes did try, but it was a losing effort, especially after they let by a goal in the third period to make it 5-3, and they just couldn't recover. So way to go, but way to go by the Canes. They did. They at least tried. I give them effort. but the Maple Leafs wanted them more. So next was the Canadiens at the Senators. Entering the matchup, Montreal was 25, 26, and 3 and 55 points. Ottawa 29, 23, and 4 and 62 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, folks, the Toronto, sorry, not the Ottawa, the Ottawa Senators lose to the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 5-2. Shots on goal were the Habs 25, the Sens 27. The Canadiens had 25 saves with the Senators 20. Montreal was 1 for 2 on the power play with Ottawa 1 for 3 on the power play. What to say about this one? It was pretty much back and forth, with Montreal having a slight lead after the first period, but Montreal kept the lead at the end of two, and that's how it was. Both teams played a good game, but Montreal they wanted to win more. That's why they got it. So I'm not disappointed by Ottawa by any means, especially just getting players back from the Four Nations tournament, the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. But um, way to go by Ottawa. They did try at least, but it wasn't good enough. That's why Montreal won. So way to go. Next was the Chicago Blackhawks at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Entering the matchup, Chicago was 17, 31, and 7 and 41 points. Columbus 26, 22, and 8 and 60 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Blue Jackets beat the Blackhawks by a score of 5-1. Shots on goal were the Jackets 21, the Hawks 28. The Blue Jackets had 27 saves with the Blackhawks 16. Columbus was 1 for 1 on the power play with Chicago 1 for 4 on the power play. Total domination by the Blue Jackets. Literally total domination. They flat out beat them. They pretty much put the puck in the net. That's what happened, and I'm pretty happy what happened. So way to go by the Blue Jackets. Way to beat them. And by the way, this was the last game of the series, and um, Columbus won the series 2 games to nothing, 2-0. Also, they had the goals. 11-4 was the score overall in that. So I'll be right back, folks. I gotta take care of something, but I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Next was my Blues taking on the Winnipeg Jets at the Enterprise Center. It turned a matchup. Winnipeg was 39, 14, and 3 and 81 points. The Blues were 25, 26, and 5 and 55 points. And at the end of 16 minutes, this had to go into extra period and nothing happened. So it had to go into a shootout. And the results of that shootout were Winnipeg went 1 for 2, Blues went 0 for 3. The Blues lose by a score of 4-3. Now, the stats I'm going to give you were after overtime. Shots on goal were the Jets 28, the Blues 24. The Jets had 21 saves with the Blues 25. Winnipeg went over 2 on the power play with the Blues 1 for 4 on the power play. We picked up a point, which is great. Uh, 56 point. But folks, we can't afford a loss like that. We can't afford it. We need the wins. And but Winnipeg got the win. It was a good matchup. We were down after 2-1. Then we scored. We tied up. Then we take the lead, and a few seconds later, as we're getting ready to win, they score on us, and then that didn't really happen in overtime, and then the shootout happened. We didn't get a goal in, and kind of disappointing. Now, I love the Blues, I love them, but guys, get your acting gear. Come on. You don't want fair weather fans? Get your acting gear, please. Next was Utah at LA. This was my upset special of the day. Um, Going into the matchup, Utah was 24, 23, and 9 and 57 points. LA 29, 17, and 6 and 65 points. And at the end, 60 minutes, LA beat the Utah club by a score of 5-3. Shots on goal were the Kings 26, Hockey Club 28. The Kings had 25 saves with the Hockey Club 21. The King LA was 1 for 2 on the power play with Utah 2 for 2 on the power play. What can I say about this game? This game was pretty neck and neck. Pretty much through 2 periods, and then all of a sudden, the Kings wanted it more. That's why they won. Good effort by Utah. I'm not disappointed in Utah. They did a great job. So good going by Utah. But LA wanted it more. And finally, the Vegas Golden Knights at home against the Vancouver Canucks. Entering the match at Vancouver was 26, 18, and 11, and 63 points. Vegas 37, 17, and 5, and 37, 17, and 6, and 72 points. At the end of 60 minutes, the Golden Knights beat the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 3-1. Shots on goal were the Knights 35, the Canucks 34. The Golden Knights had 33 saves with the Canucks 32. Vegas was 0 for 3 on the power play with Vancouver 0 for 2 on the power play. Um, After 2 periods, it was neck and neck. I mean, deadlock, neck and neck, back and forth they went. But Vegas turned on the afterburners in the third, and that's why they won. So it was a good game. Way to go by Vegas. They did a great job. So, so way to go. So how did I do tonight? I went 5, 6, and 3 for a total of 13 points. That now put me at 230, 135, and 35 for a total of 497 points. Tell me how you guys are doing on your guys' record. Are you guys winning, losing? Tell me. Tell me below. Stuff. And that's it, folks. We are done for today. We'll be on later. I'll be on later to do the games for today. As always, folks, please stay safe. Take care. Remember the Lord's watching you. And I thank you very much for tuning in tonight or this morning. And if you got any questions, please ask them. I will answer your questions. Until then, peace.